today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I trim my hair. I already have a video on my channel on how I trim my hair. It's about 3 years old. I shared it with you guys a while back. I wanted to come back and give you a little bit more detail, a little bit more instruction, so that you'll be able to trim your hair at home as well. Ever since I've been natural, I've been trimming my hair by myself. I gave myself a big cut about 2 to 3 years ago, and I'm really excited because my hair is growing and flourishing, and I'm just grateful, y'all. So I just wanted to come back, give you guys a little bit more detail, show you guys how I trim my hair, and also how I maintain my shape. So without further ado, let's get started.
We're starting off on clean, blowed out hair. I love to do my trims when my hair is stretched and dry because it's just easier that way. Currently, we're working on a 2-day-old blowout. To get started, you want to be sure that the hair is evenly separated down the middle, all the way down to the back, separating it into 2 sections and clipping one out of the way so we can get focused on one section at a time. I like to section my hair off into 3 equal sections. From the ear down, making sure it's nice and clean before twisting it up and benching it out of the way. Doing the same thing from the temple down, nice and clean parts, twist it up and benching it up. Lastly, we're left with our frontal bangs, which we simply bench out of the way for a total of 3 sections. One from the ear down, the temple down, and lastly our bangs. And then I do the same thing to the other side.
Okay, so now that I look like a giraffe, let's get started. I love to be sure that I always split my hair like this every single time I do a trim. It helps with my shape, and it also helps me just make sure that I'm going section by section. While going through each section, I love to use wide tooth combs. I use the really big one to help me detangle each section. I like to use the regular standard rat tail comb to help with going through the section again, and then using the pointer for taking out smaller sections. And this is my favorite. I love to use this really thin one because it's really helpful when trying to find and feel the damage and feel the tug. You guys will see exactly what I mean in a second. Really helpful. I use all 3 of these. And then finally, to actually cut the hair, I use hair shears. I got this from my local beauty supply store. It's super sharp. The sharper the better. This isn't a brand or, oh girl, yes it is. It is Diane, the Diane brand, the Rose, if you want to get this one in particular. Really awesome. I had it for years and I only use it when I'm cutting my hair. So now that we have everything put together, let's get started.
To get started, we're going to begin by grabbing one of our bentonated sections in the back, opening it up, fanning it out a little bit before moving on with girl. I'm just so thankful, y'all. Yeah. I'm just so thankful. Before grabbing our first comb, which is our wide tooth comb. I like using this comb first because it helps me to detangle out the large section. Usually I start doing my trims right after I blow dry my hair, so this is usually not an issue for me. But to do this video, I had to wait a couple of days so my hair is a little more tangled than usual. I use the wide tooth comb to help me get through this section, but also to help me notice and feel the beginning of all the damage. Once that section is all combed out, it's time to grab the rat tail comb. I like to use this comb to help me section out smaller sections to work with and to comb through them as well. Grabbing the section, holding it taut, we're going to be sectioning off a small section out of our larger section and clipping that out of the way so we can get started on our first section. Holding the section taut, begin by gently combing through from the ends, working all the way up to the roots, and you're going to start noticing some tug and pull. That's where you're going to also notice some thinning, some breakage, some damage, and single strand knots. Continue combing throughout the section until it is thoroughly combed through, and now we can take a closer look on that section that we noticed the damage. As you can see, it starts to get really thick starting at the roots and start to thin out towards the end. This is usually the area that you want to cut. Lastly, to help us isolate and identify the damage, we're going to be using our last comb, the fine tooth comb. With its really fine teeth, this comb helps me to stretch and straighten out the hair while notifying me of where the tug and pull actually is. This comb allows me to actually feel the damage and see it as well. After I thoroughly comb out the section, I can notice here I have some split ends and a couple of single strand knots. I also like to use my fingertips to also feel the damage as well. You'll notice that the ends will be a little more rougher than the actual length of your hair. Great, now that we know exactly what we're going to cut, here's a couple of tips. If you would like to shape your hair, hold it out and cut to a diagonal. If you would like for a more even blunt cut, hold it down and cut accordingly. Out to shape and down for a more even cut. And that's it, sis. Okay, so to get started to actually trim my hair, I'm gonna begin by grabbing my fine tooth comb, putting it at the roots of my hair, grabbing my fingers, clamping it behind it, and slowly guiding it all the way down to the ends of my hair where I notice the tug and pull, where I realized earlier that I'm gonna cut. After analyzing the section one more time just to be sure, making sure that my fingers are out into a diagonal, I grab my hair shears and snip it away. And that's it. And it's going to feel so much better. You're gonna notice that if you put that fine tooth comb back through that section, it's gonna glide through like butter. And that's because you let go of the things that are no longer serving you. After a quick length check, it's time to do the same thing to the other side by grabbing that adjacent bantu knot section, fanning it out a little bit, gently prepping the hair by combing it out starting from the ends and working all the way up to the roots, getting the hair ready by getting rid of any of those tangles and being mindful of where we're noticing some tug and pull. Using the rat tail comb to section out a small section of hair, taking the rest out of the way, and then quickly doing a length check just to notice how much I cut and how much I might need to cut. Then using the rat tail comb again to comb out the section from ends to root, and also noticing where I feel resistance and tug and pull. I also like to use my fingertips towards that section to really identify where I need to cut. I then go back in with the fine tooth comb to further help me identify the section and comb it out by applying the comb to the root as well as clamping my hands behind it, gliding it down the length of my hair until I'm at the area that I notice I need to cut, then holding my hands out and to a diagonal, grabbing the hair shears and clipping it away. See? Super easy, even, and healthy. Now I just continue these steps on the remaining sections. Now, although the comb helps you notice the damage, one of the best ways to actually know there's damage is to actually use your fingertips and feel it. There'll be a huge difference between the length of your hair and the crusty, dusty ends of your hair. However, if you don't actually cut off what you're supposed to, like I tried to do in this section, you'll notice that when you go back, the comb is not going to go through like butter. It's still going to have some tug and pull. So after redoing this section, I noticed that I left a little bit of damage off right there. After snipping it away and doing the comb test, it was so much better. For me, best practice is starting off small, cutting always about 1/4 of an inch, and then going back in if needed. I love trimming my hair on clean, blowed out hair because it allows me to see and feel the damage. It also allows me to make sure that I'm not cutting off too much. I always start off small, and if I do a comb test and I'm not there yet and there's still some tug, then I will go back in and cut off a little bit more. This way, I'm making sure that I'm not losing too much of my length but maintaining the health of my hair. Now that we finished our bottom sections and everything is trimmed and nice and shaped, we're gonna move on to the second section, which was from the temple down. We're going to continue the same steps as before. Everything remains the same except for how the hair is held in order to create shape and to trim it. Before, we held the hair mainly diagonal to our face and outward, which created a natural diagonal. Now we're going to be shifting our palms forward to create a more upward diagonal. Before, we had our hair more diagonal to our face, which occurred naturally when holding your hair outwards. Now we're going to reverse that by pushing our palms forward. And then we're going to be trimming from here. This is how we're going to create more shape within the length of the hair. See? Super cute! I love shaping and trimming my hair like this while maintaining my health and length. So if you're a little worried, please go to a professional, but I've always done my hair this way. Naturally, when you hold your hair outwards, it is aligned to your face. However, in the second section, to add a different shape to the hair, I'm going to be pushing my palm outward while holding my hair taut. As you can see, this is a different diagonal from how we've been cutting before, but once it's all put together, it creates such a cute shape to the hair. And girl, I am not nobody's a hairstylist, but I find this to be super fun and pretty easy to do. But don't worry girl, you got this. All you need to remember is before we held our hair aligned to our face in our bottom section. Now that we're in the middle section, we're gonna push our palm outward, hold the hair taut, and snip it away. Super easy, and we're gonna continue these steps for the remainder of the middle section of our hair. Great, so now the hair is looking all healthy, nice, shaped, and trimmed. We finally made it to the last and easiest section. We're going to be continuing all of the steps from before. Of course, the only difference is the way the hair is actually shaped while it's being trimmed. This section is the easiest because all we're going to do is keep our fingers completely straight, making a complete straight line, no diagonals here, and trimming it away. Super easy. Great, now just continue following these steps for the remainder of those frontal bang sections. When it comes down to how often you should be trimming your hair, that is all up to you. However, I like to trim my hair 2 times a year, once in summer and once in winter. That's usually when I notice that a lot of damage has accumulated on my strands. But trust me, it's so worth it. At the end of a trim, the result is always healthier, fuller hair.
Here is the finished product. Let me know, comment down below, let me know what you guys think. I love it. It's so fluffy, so much body. Oh my god, I was able to maintain my shape. I've never actually gotten my hair done at a salon before. I've always done my hair like this, which is kind of what gave me the shape. So I'm really excited about that. I'm pretty proud of myself, you know what I mean? I know that all of my styles are gonna come out so amazing now. If you are someone that is worried about cutting your hair or letting go of that length, girl, let go of the things that do not serve you. Let go of the things that are holding you back. All those split ends, they're holding you back. Let them go and watch your hair flourish. This happened to me in 2017 when I got way too consumed with the length of my hair instead of the health of my hair. I started to allow a lot of heat and oh girl, it was bad. And I had to cut my hair and kind of restart over my journey. And since then, this is the result. And for my hair to now be here, I'm grateful and happy. And I am no longer afraid of the scissors. The scissors is now my best friend. Y'all, I'm happy. Look, if you are afraid, don't be afraid. Let go of those split ends. Let go of those things that no longer serve you and watch yourself and your hair grow, okay? Your hair is definitely going to thank you. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't be shy to give me a big thumbs up, comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and never forget to live in love.